Level by Level Gaming, and we're going to get into the second part of the video series here on the Project Zomboid tutorial deep dive. Now in this video we're going to cover some Easter eggs, and we're going to break with script, and we're going to see exactly how the developers of the game would handle you going all Stanley Parable and not following the rules. So if you like that kind of thing, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit me up in the comments, and if you haven't seen the first video, please go back and check that out. So let's get into the tutorial here, and there will be times during this tutorial that I will fast forward so you don't have to watch the same things all over again that you would have seen in the first video. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now, when we get to the part where we can interact with this cabinet here, where you can get the dead mouse, something that I did on accident that is very detrimental, and I'll show you why here in just a few seconds, is you can accidentally take off your clothing and you can put them into the cabinet where you got the dead mouse. Now the problem is once you get the clothing off and you get it into the cabinet here, you cannot get it back on. You can put it back and forth, but that doesn't give you the option to wear them again. So let's go ahead and get into that clip now, and you will see exactly what happens if you walk around the rest of the tutorial with no shoes on in your underwear. So as you can see, if you go ahead and jump through the window with bare feet, you will deeply lacerate and lodge glass into your feet. And this will cause a very slow bleeding out process that will end your tutorial run. And if you want to look at it as a way to break the cycle, you are definitely ending Jane Doe in a way that the tutorial was not meant for you to do so. So we can consider that also breaking the cycle. Alright, we're back from that video, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the dead rat, we're going to get the jar, and we're going to continue on as we should. Now, this second part here that I'm going to show is pretty well documented and covered, and this is going to be the part where you're supposed to look out of the window and you see the zombie and it asks you to open the window. So let's go ahead and open the window. Now, let's see what happens whenever we do not climb out of the window and we actually close the window. And when you do that, it gives you a little scripted response here that says that was incorrect. Do not break with the cycle. So if I refer to breaking the cycle, that is what I'm talking about. We are in a very scripted thing here that they are aware that you are supposed to take a linear path, and when you do not do that, the game addresses it in different ways. So this is the first one that you can see that they very much tell you to do what you're told. So let's go ahead and open the window here, and we're going to climb out. Now, something that you will figure out is if you approach the zombies, they do not react in the way that they're supposed to. They don't become aggressive. They don't try to attack you, bite you, eat you, anything like that. All the zombies that you interact with up until you trigger the Hoard will just pretend like you're not even there. So that is scripted so you don't accidentally get eaten and you break the cycle whenever you're not supposed to. So let's go ahead and continue on through this part. We're going to loot the knife, and it's going to have us go through the fence. Once we go through the fence here, there is another well-documented way to break the cycle, and that's if you go up out of the fence line here somewhere and you stand up. And when you do that, it will once again threaten you, and it tells you do as we request. This is wasting time and money. Now, when I get into the third part of this video series, I will talk a little bit more about what I think is going on with the bigger scenario here and why it is telling you that you're wasting time and money, why it is calling it a cycle, and what is actually going on in Jane Doe's scenario here. But we're not covering that in this video. In this video, we're just showing some different Easter eggs and some ways to break the cycle. So let's go ahead and go up to the fence here. We're going to go through, and once again, like I said, none of these zombies will interact with you in the correct way. They don't become aggressive, and you cannot actually kill them. If I stab it here without actually going through the stealth kill, I can do this over and over again, and nothing happens. The zombie doesn't go away. You can just do this into infinity. So let's go ahead and do as it asks. We're going to go through, we're going to get the military backpack. Now, something you can figure out too is that during certain times it must unlock different coding in the game to where it wants you to be able to equip things. So as where before you could not unequip and equip the knife once you got it in your hand, now I can actually, I believe I can equip the frying pan. No. So I think I actually messed that up. There is a point where you can equip and unequip this stuff here, and I think it's before, there it is. So I've gotten it to where I can equip the hunting knife and unequip the hunting knife. I can equip the frying pan and unequip the frying pan. I can't attack with it, but I can actually take that stuff in and out of my hands where you couldn't up until this point. So that kind of gives a little bit of insight into how the tutorial is working. At certain points it is unlocking and locking things and making things stay on script. Alright, so once you get this shotgun in your hand, the rest of the tutorial you cannot equip or unequip any other weapon. And that's done so you have to face the horde and you can't get around it. Alright, let's go ahead and run and jump over the fence. Now, as you saw in that other clip, if you get to this point and you do not at least have shoes on and you climb through the window here, you will face a terrible fate of cutting your feet and bleeding out. Now, let's go ahead and bandage our feet, or our hands, correction, our hands. We're going to do so, and something that I'm going to do is I am going to unbandage my hands. That way I have a bandage in my inventory, and I'm going to see later on if I'm able to use that if I get injured. So let's go ahead and check out what's going on outside. I'm going to open the curtains, and we're going to go ahead and put on all this clothing. So I'm going to fast forward through all this just so you don't have to watch it again. So the only benefit I could see to going back to the cupboard situation and taking all your clothes off and leaving your tennis shoes on is whenever you get to the point where you can put all this clothing back on, you don't end up with an inventory full of clothing that you can't drop, you can't do anything with, and it's just stuck there. Now it doesn't really matter because it's not taking you overweight, and you can't interact with very much during the tutorial after you get the horde, but it would still be one of those things that if you wanted to get there and just have on the clothing and have a more streamlined inventory. So let's go ahead and let's crouch. We'll go up to the gate. We're going to climb over the gate. And it didn't read that I climbed the gate. Let's try that again. Alright, we're over the gate. I hope I didn't break it. Let's see. Climb over. I don't know why it's there. It is. Okay, so sometimes playing around the tutorial and not staying on script, you can actually break it to the point where it's not able to continue. So you can see that I'm going to walk all around these zombies. I'm going to push them around. I can interact with the sister's zombie there, and it really doesn't affect how they interact with me. What it is wanting you to do is wanting you to take aim with the shotgun. So as soon as I take aim with the shotgun, it's going to script them to step up, and they're going to start to attack. Now, what you think is this is a death sentence, but it is actually not, because they are still unable to attack you. They are nerfed. So with these nerfed zombies, you can walk all around. You can lead them all over wherever you want to go, and they can't do a thing to you. So what it wants you to do is it wants you to take aim, and it wants you to fire the shotgun at least once and continue on with the script. But what you can do is you can push them down. See if I can't get it to knock one of them at least down on the ground, and you can stomp on them. So there's one down, and there's still one left. So if I go ahead and I stomp this guy down, watch what happens. It's going to say that every zombie in the forest heard the shotgun and they're coming for you. So I didn't fire that shotgun not once, and they all heard a shotgun blast. So I wonder what's going on there. And that will get back into the third part of the video about what is actually going on here. So let's climb over. And it's going to want us to sprint. And here we go. We have triggered the Hoard, and they are coming for us. Let's zoom out so you can see that. Now, once you get this far, and if you're like me and you take off running, you will start to notice that there are other buildings all over this map. Down here in the bottom corner, there is a barn of some sort. And you can see they're just pouring out of that barn. Lots of zombies. Everywhere. Oh, am I going to get it? Am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? Yep. Nope, nope, nope. She fell down. All right. There we go. Barely. I made it through that little section. Now, if we run all the way over here, down this path from the front door to your house, you're going to see a shed. Now, you're going to notice that this one is locked. The barn and this other building that I'm going to show you up here in the upper corner to the left are wide open. The doors are unlocked. Now, here in this little lab or whatever this is that we find in the upper right hand corner, the front door is open, but the inner door is locked. And inside of that inner door is going to be a scientist zombie in a lab coat, and I cannot open this door, and she is just constantly banging and beating on it. And if I hang out here too long, the zombies seem to know where you are. No matter where you're at on the map, they seem to be able to find you, and I think that is part of some of the scripted things, is for you not to be able to just do whatever you want at this point. You are meant to be eaten by the Hoard. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end it all here. I'm going to face the Hoard, and I'm going to show you what happens if you want to be able to explore those buildings without the threat of being eaten by zombies. So let's go ahead and get them all in front of me. See if I can take a few of them with me. Let's not go down without a fight. Okay, so 7 shotgun shells, that's it. That's all you get, is 7 shots. Alright, so the Hoard has done its job, and we are going to have to go back, and I'm going to show you what happens in the tutorial if you want to be able to explore those buildings without having to face the Hoard. If we get back to the point to where you aim at the zombies and you can start to interact with them, you can shoot or not shoot, and let's say we go ahead and we knock them down here and we take at least one of them out, because once again, remember, they cannot bite you, scratch you, hurt you at this point. Now, I still have one left, and remember how I showed that you have 6 shotgun shells? Now watch what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should be the end of my shotgun shells, right? And they don't give you the option to reload or look and to see how many you actually have, how many shots you have. Let's see what happens. 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, so now I actually have infinite shotgun shells with this zombie still running around trying to bite me, and he can't do anything. So you now can exit this fence here. And another thing was, let's see what happens with these buildings. Now, in the earlier part of the video here, you saw that these buildings are here and the doors are wide open. And what happens is if you go to these buildings before you activate the Hoard, you can't get in. The doors are locked. And you can see here, I will run all the way around the building. There's no zombies, the Hoard isn't activated, and the doors are shut. And that is going to be what happens, and I guess that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to block you from going in these buildings until the Hoard activates. So let's see what happens if we use the shotgun and our infinite ammo to shotgun breach this door. So the door can still register damage, and you can actually enter the door by blowing it away with the shotgun. Now once in here, you will see that this barn is actually a morgue, and somebody has written on the walls. Now once again, I will cover some more of this stuff on my third video whenever I talk about what is actually going on here. So let's exit this morgue here, and let's see if the zombie can actually do anything. Nope, he still can't attack me. So let's run over here. And let's see. This door is still locked, but once again, we can shotgun breach. And once inside, we can see that there's nothing in here, but if you were ever curious about what's inside of the shed, you can get in that way. And the final thing that we're going to shotgun breach here is the laboratory that is in the upper left-hand corner. Alright. These doors are way harder to shotgun breach than the doors that are made out of wood, on the barn, on the shed, but with some perseverance, you can get through them. There we go. Alright. Now, look, there are no zombies, and there is not a lab zombie in here. So this place is empty until the Hoard is activated. Alright, so we're through the door, and let's cut a light on here. And we can see that we are inside of the laboratory, and there you go. So that's going to round out my second video in the deep dive of the tutorial. As you can see, there are multiple ways that you can break the cycle, and you can go off script and see some things that you wouldn't normally see if you just did everything that he told you to do. Now, also something that I will try to throw in here is that if you let this zombie wait long enough, or you go to certain parts of the map, I have been able to get this zombie to be able to damage me and end it that way without having to face the horde. You can go out kind of on your own terms. The table for the autopsies, and they've got some wood stacked up here, I assume for some type of... Oh, well, he was able to bite me that time. Look at that. So something's changed. Very strange. So this is very, very interesting. For some reason he wasn't able... I wonder if I still have infinite shotgun shells, or how bad these bites and scratches are. But something definitely changed from before. I'm scratched, bleeding, bitten, infected. Oh yeah, she's done for. So 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I still have infinite shotgun shells, but I'm mortally wounded. So if you like these kind of videos, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit me up in the comments, and stay tuned for part 3 whenever I try my best to explain what actually happened to Jane Doe.